If you're going to Brazil and you want to go somewhere else beyond Rio to enrich your itinerary in Brazil, you should definitely consider Recife. Boasting an international airport and many paradisiac beaches around it, Recife itself tends to be underestimated by Brazilians and foreigners alike. This video intends to change that. So here are 12 things to do in Recife, Pernambuco. Hi, my name is Ana, and here on this channel we talk about everything Brazil and maybe some other countries, food, culture, architecture, and much more. Come with me as we discover the world together. Recife is incredibly rich in culture, culinary, architecture, and more. It is funny that people overlook it because there is so much to do in this rich city. So without further ado, here are 12 things to do in Recife. The first one is the ceramic workshop Francisco Brenan. Francisco Brenan was a famous Brazilian ceramist, and his workshop stays in what used to be his family's old tile factory. His workshop nowadays is an open-air museum with most of his work over there for you to enjoy. All of the pieces have meaning, and there are guides that are able to explain to you everything, both in Portuguese and in English. Speaking of the Brenham family, another one of its members was also a patron of the arts. Ricardo Brenan loved art so much that he amassed a huge collection in his lifetime. Once he passed, his collection was open to the public in what is now the Instituto Ricardo Brenan, or the Ricardo Brenham Institute. The institute houses thousands of pieces all over the world, from paintings to sculptures to vases and armors, and it is truly a magnificent place for you to visit. It is considered the best museum in South America by TripAdvisor, so you absolutely should not miss this one. The Brenham family is a very important family in Pernambuco, but they are not the only ones. Another family that made history in the state is the Souza Leão family. One of the reasons for that is because they invented what is now an immaterial heritage of the state of Pernambuco, the Souza Leão cake. This cake differs from the traditional cakes we know because it substitutes some of the main ingredients by some more regional ingredients, such as the flour for maniac flour and the milk for coconut milk. This bright yellow pudding-looking cake is very delicious and should absolutely try it once you're there. You can find it in most of the bakeries across town, and it's very inexpensive, so make sure to get one whenever you're having breakfast around there. And if you're visiting Recife, chances are you're going to be staying in the neighborhood of Boa Viagem. Boa Viagem is now full of skyscrapers, but it was once a small colonial fishing village. Most of this colonial architecture is gone by now. However, you can still see remnants of that in the little square at the heart of the neighborhood where they have the small church that still holds its colonial past. In that square of Our Lady of Boa Viagem, you will find the street market that sells loads of souvenirs. It is a great place for you to buy artisanal items like ceramics, woodwork, painting, fabrics, and more. If you're looking to get something home for yourself or family and friends, make sure to stop by and get some souvenirs while browsing around. And if you're visiting the street market in Boa Viagem, you should absolutely try the Entre Amigos restaurant, which is a restaurant that is specialized in goat meat. Now, hear me out. I know that goat meat is not for everybody. However, you should absolutely try it. If you enjoy immersing yourself in the local culture, then you absolutely should try goat meat. And this restaurant specifically is specialized in goat meat and holds all of the supply chain from grass to table, serving you some very quality goat meat. Goat meat is very popular with people from the area in the country called Sertão. Sertão is an area of the country in the inner side of the northeast region, and it's known for its very desertic climate. The people that live there have a very rich culture, and to honor that culture, there is a museum called Cais do Sertão. This is a modern museum that is located on the historical town center of Recife. This museum shows you everything about the culture of the sertanejo, people that lives in the Sertão area, including clothes, the places where they live, and more. In here you can learn about important aspects of the Brazilian culture, such as one of our famous singers called Luiz Gonzaga, and also unrelated to him, you can also learn about the cangaceiros, which were bandits that would roam the sertões with their very traditional cowboy attire. And since we are already here in the Colonial Historical Center, let's go around and see what other attractions are available in the area. Just a few meters to the side, you will have the Marco Zero Plaza, or the Ground Zero Plaza. This plaza, as the name says, marks where the city starts and is usually the starting point to venture into the old town center to explore more. Over here you can take pictures with the large Recife sign, And you can also see one of the Franciscus Brenan sculptures. You can also visit an artisan market that stays in the same plaza. As you venture into the town center, you will find Rua dos Amores, or the Love Street. This short street houses some interesting street art. However, make sure you don't miss it, since it sits at the back of the colonial town center. One of the main attractions in the colonial town center is the Frivo Museum. Frivo is the dance of choice of people from Pernambuco and Recife when they're dancing carnival. So if in Rio you will be hearing samba, in Recife you will be hearing Frivo. Frivo is an extremely important part of our culture, not only in Recife but for the entire Brazil, and this museum pays homage to that genre. In this museum, you can learn more about the history of Frivo, as well as watch Frivo sessions on the top floor. Frivo is the main choice of the locals of this region when deciding what to dance for carnival. So if you are interested to learn more about this captivating rhythm, make sure to visit the museum. Our last stop in the colonial town center before we venture to somewhere else is the Bonu Street. This street is considered one of the most beautiful streets in the world, and you can easily tell why. Its colorful colonial houses, its palm trees lining up the side of the streets, and the cobblestones that pave the road make it look like you have been transported in time. The Bonu Street is also a hot spot for the nightlife, so make sure to enjoy the many bars and restaurants that are around the area. Now, let's venture a little bit further away into Olinda. Olinda is admittedly another town, so it's not properly Recife. But with a short 30-minute ride, you can arrive in Olinda and see why the entire town is now a UNESCO Heritage Site. If in the Recife Colonial Town Center you see some of the colorful houses, in Olinda you will see many more. Most of the town got preserved, and you also see some interesting colonial architecture in the churches as well. But you do need to have some physical disposition to explore, because the entire town is sitting on top of a mountain, so there will be ups and down hills all over. And if you are in Olinda, make sure to visit the Alto da Sé Church, the church where you have the best views from Olinda, the Saint Benedict Monastery, Mosteiro de São Bento, which has an incredible Baroque style interior, and also make sure to visit the evening street market, as well as have a tapioca in one of the many stalls selling tapiocas with all flavors and sizes. After eating your tapioca, make sure to visit the Casa dos Bonecões de Olinda. Bonecões de Olinda are giant puppets that are used during carnival time. Olinda is one of the places that have one of our most famous carnivals. Yes, Rio is not the only one who has famous carnivals around Brazil. And these giant puppets that represent loads of famous people just are paraded all over the towns throughout Recife and Olinda. So if you're not around Recife and Olinda during carnival time, this is a great opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about their carnival culture. The next one in our list is yet another culinary delight. Perhaps one of the most famous Brazilian cakes, the Bola Jolo, is a cake specific from the region of Pernambuco. Bola Jolo, as the name says, is a rolled cake. A thin layer of some sweet paste is spread in between the cake, the traditional flavor being guava paste. However, you can also find it in chocolate and dulce de leche flavors. One of the most popular places for you to buy Bola Jolo is a place called Casa dos Frios. The cake comes very well packed, and it can be taken home with you to share with family and friends. For more information about prices, timetables, and how to get to many of the places I mentioned here, you can check these other videos out on this playlist, where I explain in a lot more detail all of those things. I hope you consider adding Recife to your itinerary, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!